From the towering skyscrapers to the wide-open freeways, North American cities have always been as vibrant as they are bustling. But as more and more people around the world pack into cities, parts of North America are also feeling the squeeze. In certain cities, rapid population growth is fueling everything from economic booms to exorbitant housing prices. However, across the U.S., according to the Census Bureau, both natural population growth and the number of people moving are on the decline. That doesn't mean the whole nation is experiencing slowdowns, however, but it does explain why Canada accounts for 5 of the top 10 population growth hotspots in North America. Our ranking is based on data analyzed produced by the U.S. Census Bureau and Statistics Canada for the year preceding 2019. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button to help us out. Now, here are 10 of the fastest growing cities in North America. Number 10. Seattle, Washington. In at number 10 is the rainy Washington state city of Seattle. Renowned for its temperature climate and high-tech economy, it's not hard to see why people are flocking to become Seattleites. In fact, between 2010 and 2020, the city saw a growth rate of 21.1%. That's equivalent to more than 300,000 new residents, bringing the total population to over 700,000. This breakneck growth means Seattle was one of just 14 U.S. cities to stack on more than 100,000 people over the past decade. Part of the attraction comes from the significant tech sector. Bill Gates, for instance, was born in Seattle, and Microsoft continues to be dominant in the region. Meanwhile, Amazon was founded in Seattle and currently employs 80,000 people in Washington state, up from 26,500 in 2015, with most jobs based in Seattle. Who knows how long the trend will continue? Number 9. Charlotte, NC. Next up is perhaps a surprising entry on this list. Charlotte, the most populous city in North Carolina, is already the second largest city in the Southeast. Now it's set to get even bigger. Currently, the city is home to some 874,000 people, with the metro area surpassing 2.6 million. However, in the past decade, an astonishing 888,000 people moved to the metro area, or a 59.6% growth rate. Nor are there any signs of slowing down. Economists are projecting continued population growth, with Greater Charlotte becoming home to over 2.8 million residents by 2025, an 18% increase on current population estimates. It's a trend occurring across North Carolina, which will pick up an extra congressional seat, going from 15 in the 2020 election to 16 electoral votes in the 2024 presidential contest. And the benefit is also economic. In 2025, Charlotte is projected to be home to 14 Fortune 500 companies, up from 8 in 2015. The only way is up in Charlotte. Number 8. Austin, Texas. According to U.S. Census data, Texas was once again the fastest growing state in the nation. That's in no small part to the explosive growth of Austin. Between 2010 and 2020, Austin's metro swelled by almost a third, adding over 500,000 residents. If we include metro areas, Austin is actually the fastest growing big city in the entire United States. In effect, it's the suburbs and not the city that's fueling Austin's extraordinary growth. Sprawling streets of seemingly endless single-family homes prevent life without a car. Indeed, to go anywhere you need to drive, far. Nor do single-family homes meet the actual demand for housing. As part of its slew of growing pains, Austin is struggling with affordable housing and an unresolved homelessness crisis. In stark contrast, the city center saw increasing density, meaning more apartments and more high-rises. Back in 2010, for example, a mere 254 block groups had a population density of 5,000 residents or more. That rose to 403 by 2020. If this rampant growth continues, Austin's problems may only be beginning. Number 7. San Antonio, Texas. Not far from Austin is the second most populous city in Texas, San Antonio. Home to around 1.4 million people in the city limits, with 2.5 million in the total metro, it's the 7th biggest city in the U.S. The city isn't done yet. Its unprecedented growth trajectory has resulted in a staggering growth projection. Bexar County, where the majority of San Antonio is located, stands to gain 1.1 million new residents by 2040. It's a worrying prospect for city officials, faced with providing over 1 million millennials with homes, infrastructure, and jobs. Yet already San Antonio is under pressure. In the U.S., San Antonio's growth was outpaced only by Phoenix, as the city added 17,237 people between July 2018 and July 2019. It was the second consecutive year San Antonio had ranked second nationally. Indeed, since 2010, they've added over 200,000 people. But as house prices begin to rise, can city officials respond in time? Number 6. Edmonton, AB. As U.S. cities struggle to contend with extreme population growth, Things are on a whole other level in Canada. In Edmonton, for instance, the municipal census in 2019 put the city population at 972,223 people, an 8.1% increase from 2016. It's estimated that more than 1 million people now live within the city limits. Meanwhile, the metro area is even more impressive. In 2019, Edmonton's metro population was 1.43 million, but by 2022, it had already grown to 1.5 million. Now, Edmonton city officials are planning even further growth in the future. By mid-century, the city of Edmonton expects to grow beyond 2 million residents. Such colossal growth means increased density and more infrastructure. As Mayor Don Iveson put it, 50 years from now, someone's going to look back and say, "Boy, I'm glad they had a plan 50 years ago." Indeed, North America's most northerly city with a population greater than 1 million people is set for big changes. We're now halfway through the video. We hope you're enjoying exploring some of the fastest growing cities in North America. We still have 5 more cities to visit, so stay with us. Number 5. Ottawa, Ontario. At our halfway point is Canada's capital city of Ottawa. However, despite being one of the fastest growing cities in North America, Ottawa only surpassed the million-person mark in June 2019. Meanwhile, the broader Ottawa region hosts almost 1.5 million, making it the 4th largest city in Canada. That's changing rapidly, however. During the 2018 to 2019 period, Ottawa grew by 2.3% year-over-year. In comparison, across the Ottawa River, Gatineau grew 1.5% in the same period. Much of the growth is fueled by foreign immigration. Roughly a quarter of Ottawa residents are foreign-born, hailing from regions as far afield as the United Kingdom, the US, Pakistan, Somalia, Vietnam, and Iran. But there are no signs of the city's growth slowing down. The local government estimates that it will rocket to 2 million much faster than it did to 1. Indeed, an average of about 28 people join the municipality every day. Yet estimating exactly how long it will take to reach this next historic milestone is anyone's guess. Number 4. Calgary, Alberta. Canada's 3rd most populous city has seen meteoric population growth over the past century or more. Back in 1891, less than 4,000 people called Calgary home. By 1911, it was 43,000. From there, the city's population underwent a radical transformation. In 1951, Calgary broke the 100,000 mark, and 60 years later the population surpassed 1 million people. However, what took over a century to achieve is now happening in less than 2 decades. Between 2011 and 2020, Calgary went from almost 1.1 million people to 1.5 million people, roughly a 1/3 increase in population. It's not quite the 265.2% increase seen between 1906 and 1911, however it does raise the question, when will it stop? Indeed, Calgary's insane population growth has often outstripped its neighbors. In the period of 2011 to 2016, Calgary far outpaced Edmonton and Toronto. Yet as the city's economy continues to improve, it's unlikely Calgary will stop being one of Canada's most attractive destinations. Number 3. Phoenix, Arizona. For the 5th year in a row, Phoenix is the fastest growing city in the US. Despite being one of the hottest cities in all of North America, this sunshine city is also undergoing a rapid transformation. According to the US Census Bureau, in 2020, Phoenix's population topped 1.7 million, adding more new residents than any other city, 25,000 more to be precise. And it's not just year-on-year growth in which Phoenix leads. The Arizona city also boasts the highest 10-year population growth, adding almost 260,000 people between 2010 and 2020, an 18.1% population increase. Phoenix alone added more people than 24 states, to put it in context. More broadly, Maricopa County, where Phoenix is situated, added more population than 36 states. It's a staggering picture. Someday Phoenix may even overtake Houston's remarkable size, as the Texan city has seen flatlining population growth since Hurricane Harvey in 2018. However, climate change is set to send the city's temperature up and up, so the desert metropolis could finally see its growth spurt subside due to environmental pressure. Number 2. Montreal, Quebec. In second place, Montreal, Canada's largest French-speaking city, saw over 30,000 people flock to the city between July 2018 and July 2019. This extraordinary rise saw the city's population reach over 1.7 million people. Meanwhile, the broader metro area has almost 4.1 million people. In fact, the metro area added a monumental 66,000 people from 2017 to 2018, making it the 6th fastest growing metro in North America at the time. It's a truly startling trend, but there are some signs things are beginning to change. Surprisingly, between 2019 to 2020, Montreal experienced a record-high population loss. Indeed, Statistics Canada reported almost 25,000 people moved out of Montreal to other regions. The wider Montreal region saw its population increase by just 5,000 people in the same period. This slump is largely attributed to COVID-19. People are moving out of the big city, preferring to work remotely from either smaller urban centers or rural locations. Time will tell if this is a lasting trend. You're nearly at the end of our video. Which city do you think will take the #1 spot? We're on a mission to explore all of Earth's amazing destinations. Make sure you're subscribed, that way you'll always be notified of our latest videos. Number 1. Toronto, Ontario. Toronto isn't just the most populous city in Canada, it's also North America's 4th most populous city. The city itself contains approximately 6.5 million people in the Greater Toronto Area, forming the principal anchor for the Golden Horseshoe, Canada's main urban center, where over 9 million people live. In 2019, Toronto grew by over 45,000 people. That's as many people as New York City lost. Nevertheless, the city saw a drop in internal domestic net migration, making up ground with booming international immigration. If trends are to be believed, Toronto is estimated to hit 8 million people within 10 years, reaching the 10 million mark by 2045. Whether these crystal ball predictions come to pass or not is unknown, but Toronto did grow 3 times more than Phoenix, Arizona. However, before we start envisioning the next North American megacity, Toronto, like Montreal, saw a record-high population loss in 2020. Reportedly, more than 50,000 people left the city between July 2019 to July 2020. This trend is mirrored across major urban areas. Toronto will need to rely increasingly on international immigration to maintain its growth. But as the allure of the big city drops in the post-pandemic world, it might not just be Toronto whose demographic future is in flux. Hey, thanks for watching. Want to suggest a video or have something to say? Let us know in the comments section below. Check out our cities playlist for more videos like this one.